goes the gavel. How's that?
That's good.
The best gavel I have. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for all being here at this North Ogden City Audit Committee meeting. Councilmember Ekstrom, will you please offer us an invocation or a thought and lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I'll start with an invocation.
Thank you.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so very grateful to be gathered together this evening that we may be able to consider and look over the finances of North Ogden City. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to be in a position of leadership and to be able to be entrusted with decisions, and pray that thou will guide us and direct us. Please bless us with inspiration, and that we may be able to make good decisions and be able to make North Ogden an even better place to live. Please help us to be wise stewards over these resources, and please help us and watch over all of the members of our community. Please help us to serve wherever we can. Help us to inspire others to do so as well. We're again grateful for all that we have and for the wonderful opportunity that we have to live in such a beautiful place. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. If you would all mute except for Councilmember Ekstrom while she gives the pledge.
All right. Well, repeat after me or with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Ekstrom. First up on our agenda is the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our December 21st, 2021 meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes from December 21st, 2021 meeting.
Thank you, Randy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember or Committee Member Ekstrom. Any discussion, any corrections or deletions, additions that anybody found in going over the minutes?
I didn't find any this time.
Thank you. That being the case, all those in favor of approving the minutes from December 21st, 2021, please indicate with an aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. We'll now move on to public comments on our active agenda. There's no public in a physical location. John, will you let us know if there's any public online that would like to make comments?
We don't currently have any public watching.
Okay. In that case, we'll move on from public comments and go right to item number 3. Discussion on quarterly financials. Presenter will be Jamie Jones, our finance director extraordinaire. Jamie, take it away.
Oh boy. Thank you.
Don't you have your cape on with the big S?
Well, I was working on my
financial?
window here. All right. So I want to start with the first slide and reviewing the overall status of each of the major funds. This is for the second quarter of the fiscal year, which obviously is 50%. And so I just included the actual year-to-date information from July through December. This first slide represents the percentages of revenues and expenditures. As you can see, the general fund is 51% revenue and 45% expenses so far. The 51% is mainly due to the property taxes that we received in December. The Aquatic Center, 38% revenue and 51% expenditures. And there's a slide later on that'll explain a little more about that. But last time we discussed that there was a need for reversing entries from the audit work, and those were completed. And so these are current year numbers. Their season opens, obviously everybody knows their season opens Memorial Day through Labor Day, which straddles a fiscal year. So their revenues and expenses are kind of skewed because of that. And a lot of their end of year revenues do come in around April when their swim lessons signups begin. So the water fund revenue is 45% and 55% on expenditures. This is an average of all the revenues, but the actual utility billing revenue line item is right at 49% for the actual water usage. So expenditures are a little higher. And like we discussed before, there were a lot of water line main breaks. That accounts for about 75%. And of course, those power pumping costs, which is about 60%. There's also the line items for the new meters for their homes are expensed to 88%. I've been talking with Jason about that, and we might be coming back for a budget amendment there. So the sewer fund revenue is at 48% and expenditures are at 47%. So overall, that fund looks like it's on target. And stormwater revenue, 47%, expenditures at 52%. And then that's primarily due to the capital projects expenditures. And then also the payment to the North Ogden Canal Company. Solid waste is at 48% and revenues at 53% expenditures. And again, they look overall looks on target. The little increase on there on the expenditure side is the waste hauling and the transfer, the transfer station fee, fees for those. So sorry,
Jamie,
my mouth is just really dry.
while you're rehydrating there,
Sorry about that.
as I looked through, I was a little bit concerned in the solid waste fund. It seems like the transfer fees station and the hauling contract were above what we budgeted.
Right.
Combining that with a shortfall, not significant, but a shortfall in revenues, particularly in water. And that's after we increased the pumping fee, I think. I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to be off budget on the bottom line on just about every one of our enterprise funds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned just yet. I mean, I would like to look at it. We're moving into. I mean, this is information for the second quarter, but we're moving into February, at the end of February now, and maybe take a little harder look then.
I think, did you go back and analyze month by month to, I know John and myself talked about analyzing the months to see if we're off or if it's, in comparison to the prior year, are we off in a certain month or?
So I looked at the water fund, and the water fund, we're actually off $10,000 in the month of July and a little bit in August compared to the prior year. And those were those months where we were conserving, we were cracking down on conservation. So for the most part, for that fund being, that utility line being at 49% is right there.
Yeah, so my water fund, I was thinking was like at 45% of revenues.
Of total revenues, yes, but the actual utility billing line is at 49%.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the next slide. Just more of the general fund. 57%, we received 88% of the property tax, which is about 1.5 million. Licenses and permits at 68%, and specifically building permits are 69% of this amount. And when I looked this morning, building permits were at 79% for the year. That would be as of yesterday morning, or this morning as of yesterday. Intergovernmental revenue is 35%. We're just waiting on the Victims Advocate grant, but we did actually receive that this week. I think we received about 9,000 of that this week. And then B&C road money is at 34% for the year. So that third payment should be coming anytime now too. Charges are Charges for services at 37%. Again, this was just part of the audit work that needed to be done. The charges for services includes recreation and plan check and zoning fees. And now that, as I mentioned, we made those adjustments for the aquatic center. And so the revenues kind of look like they're down, but most of that was for the aquatic center that came into the general fund. And then just as a side note, we have changed how those revenues are coming in to lessen the confusion for this line item and for the audit going forward. We just added a sports sites clearing account. And so that when we can run those reports, we're able to identify clearly where they should be allocated. I hope that makes sense. Fines and other court fees are at 61%, miscellaneous at 21%, and contributions and transfers to other funds at 7%. And these are primarily donation revenues that we receive. And we collect when we do. So on the expenditures, as you can see, we mentioned last time that the council's at 76%, and that's the election fees that were right there at the beginning of the year. And then the other outlier there, the non-departmental, and that's the liability insurance.
Admin is up a little too.
What's that?
The administration is up.
Yeah, I just realized I skipped over that. Administration is about 50%, and this has to do with the staff shuffle that we've had in that department. There is one position that is not currently filled, and so we anticipate that to even out for the year. It'll be something that we're watching for third quarter. And I think, let's see here. Oh, and then that public works, I know that's a negative, but that negative is slowly becoming a positive. That's because public works is heavily supports the enterprise funds, and we apply those expenditures there. The transfers out at 34%, and then this is reflecting the B and C roads. So that equals that revenue coming in and revenue going out. So next slide. See here, number 3. So here we're comparing first quarter to second quarter. Again, for that general fund where it just jumps up to 32%, that second quarter is those property tax, but the rest of the funds are pretty even. The expenditure sides, the outlier there for the aquatic centers, because most of their operations are ran in that first quarter. And then we'll probably see something like that again for fourth quarter. Stormwater looks higher. I believe because of the line item, there's a 263% expenditure, which is the Stormwater Coalition, and that was missed on the budget. So I'm thinking that's what's skewing the stormwater. Any questions there?
Randy, any questions?
No.
And then on the next slide for the year-to-date quarterly sales tax, we're at 18.33% higher than projected budget, which is about 260,000. And just as a side note, this does reflect revenues received through November, so 5 months worth. I'm expecting December, hopefully Tuesday, since Monday's a holiday, could be Wednesday.
I did have a question on that. It seems that seems like not a very close estimation. Seems like we're not coming close to the actual. I know that we were pleasantly surprised with our sales tax revenue, but it's been going on for quite a time. We seemed like maybe we should have estimated a little closer.
Good point.
And if you remember, Jamie, on the budget for sales tax, we did not increase our projection this year over what we projected last year to just make sure we had that cushion. We held steady. We didn't project an increase over last year's budget, if that makes sense, because we were worried about a little bit of a dip. So
True.
it's not super surprising it's conservative.
Well, I think it's wise to be conservative because oftentimes if you have the money, you'll find a way to spend it, right? So if you budget it, it often gets spent. So it's always good to have a cushion.
Did you just tell me to go spend money, Mayor?
No, John, misinterpretation.
Only if it's spelled COBRA. No, I agree with Mayor, Randy, the conservative nature that we tend to have in this city. The last thing we want to do is overestimate, and I haven't found a prognosticator yet on this economy that can give us any idea what's going to happen next week. And so I'm appreciative of the guidance that we have from our finance team to be conservative and come in a little bit under on our estimates.
Gotcha.
All right, so finance department update. We did hire our new accountant. Her name is Christy, and boy, are we lucky that we found her. She's working out great. She's got everything caught up through second quarter and is already working on audit prep. So she's been a fantastic addition. I just haven't told her that debits don't equal credits yet. I'm kind of leaving that out for a minute.
Don't blow her away.
Right? Just some projects finance department's working on. We are doing the budget preparation, starting a little bit earlier this year, which is great. And then I would like to be reviewing the fraud risk assessment for next meeting. It's actually due in June, and I think that will be the only time that we'll be meeting before that assessment is due. So I'd like to review that next time. Hopefully you guys have received the email that was sent out, in December, to review that. And then just once again, just want to remind everybody about the fraud hotline that's available, and information's on the website. So that's really all I have.
Thank you, Jamie. Any questions from anyone? Andy, let's start with you. Any questions that you have on what Jamie presented to us?
I'm just looking over my notes here. No, I think we've answered them.
Okay, Mayor, any questions from you?
No, I think we're good. Jamie, I don't know if you've projected the excess revenues over expenditures that might be transferred to capital projects. What did we budget for that again? Refresh my memory. I looked through the very good information you sent, but brain fog has set in. Can you refresh my memory on that?
Yep, let me pull it up here just for a second. Where are we at? So backing out the ARPA money, because we got to bring that into the general fund. So that's the 2.4 million going over. And then we have budgeted was 562 going over to the capital projects fund. And 800 was going over for BNC roads. So it's a total of 3.7 million, but 2.5 of that is ARPA, 800 for the road projects, and 562 for the capital improvements fund.
Thank you.
Welcome.
John, any questions or comments from you?
Jamie glossed over it because she doesn't like to toot her own horn, but we are way ahead on budget this year, meaning we're talking about things that usually we're talking about in March or later currently, as well as the idea that Christy is already starting to prepare for the audit, which we don't finalize our paperwork till July, August, but that just means we're going to be that far ahead. And I just think it's a good example of the competence and the good change that was made in that department to just elevate our expectations in the city's performance. So that's all I have.
That's incredible. Jamie, well done to you and Christy
Thank-
and all that you're doing to get us straightened out and keep us moving forward quickly. It's wonderful. You're doing a great.
Yes. We're glad to have her, no doubt about it. Hey, Jamie, just one other quick question, if I could, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mayor.
So we budgeted 560, and let's say that sales tax continues on the same trend it is. Right now, we're 18% up, or a couple $100,000. I'm assuming if that continues on, that the amount available to transfer to capital projects would be close to the excess sales tax over budget. Would that be correct?
Yes, you are correct.
So we could have a good start for our long-term projects we're looking at.
Yes. Yes, we bring that back to June to council for a budget amendment to have that increase there.
Have we started to spend money on the public safety building?
Yes, we have. So far, it's the property that we acquired and then some engineering. So just shy of about 400,000, I think.
But we have received the funds, 6,750,000. Which, John, you might want to report on the timing of closing that when we did for interest rate purposes.
We ended up well positioned. I think since we closed, the interest rates have been up from 30 to 50 points depending on the day. And so when you times that by 6.75 million, that adds up pretty quick over 12 years. So we really did good on the timing on that.
Excellent. Excellent. Randy, what other questions do you have?
I'm good. I think that's it.
Okay, we're at item number 5 then, public comments. John, do we have public that's joined us?
Nope, it's still just the lonely 7.
Just the lonely 7. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6. Any additional committee member or staff comments? Let's go through one by one. Jamie?
Just want to make sure if there's any other information that needs to be added for next time, please email me so I can get it going. And then just a reminder, we'll be reviewing the audit, the fraud
Fraud
risk assessment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, Susan?
Do we want to schedule the date for the next meeting?
Yes, I think that would be helpful.
When did you need to do us to meet again, Jamie? You said May for the next one to do that fraud assessment?
Yeah, it's due in June, so May would be good. That way it's not too far out. Even late April,
Okay.
early May.
Want to do the last Thursday in April or the first Thursday in May? Jamie, do you have a preference?
If I would say May 5th.
That's Cinco de Mayo, so I guess we'll have tacos with the meeting.
Awesome.
Not that it matters, but I will be out of town on that Thursday.
It matters.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's do it the last Thursday of April then.
So the last Thursday of April is the 28th.
27th. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong line. Okay. Let's see, April.
So Thursday, the 28th. at 6. Okay. I'll send out a notice to the group as well, just so that Thane Schaefer can see it as well.
That's great. I did just get a text from committee member Schaefer saying that he had mistakenly thought the meeting was last night and then realized last night that it was tonight. And he's at Weaver State with a prior commitment for tonight, so he asked to be excused.
Okay. Jamie, on the risk assessment, I think the one item where we could get additional points that's significant is on the ethics policy.
Yeah.
John, do you want to give an update to the committee where we're at on that?
So we have it in its final form. I did one final change. We stole it from a group that used team members a lot, and I found that it used team members so often it became painful, because I added a bunch more in as I was tweaking. So I've retweaked, and now we're ready to have it updated. So we will send it to Councilman Swanson and you, Mayor, for inclusion in the personnel policy, but it is ready to go in its final form.
And I would just mention to Randy, you're probably aware of this. I think everybody else is, but inflation that's being talked about is hitting the city just like it's hitting everywhere else. And so this budgeting year will be interesting, particularly in regards to any adjustments in property taxes, but we're experiencing the same thing that most others are in regards to inflation.
Yeah, I imagine you would. So that'll have to be figured through the budgeting process, won't it?
Yes, particularly in salaries.
Yeah, it's salaries and materials would be the main places. Not the others shouldn't be as affected as much, but the other categories.
I saw an article yesterday that the producer price index is up over 9%.
Yeah, this is the price for all that free money this last year.
Yes. Okay, Randy.
I'd just like to say that it feels good to be in better shape this year than we were last year. And I commend those involved for doing it.
Absolutely. We've got a great team. Thank you, Randy. John, anything that you have?
Nothing else other than just appreciation. Even if these meetings are short, it sure is a good exercise for the city and the citizens when questions come up. So it's good. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Ekstrom.
Yes. So Jamie, I'm quite excited at all of this work that you have done. Hopefully you're finding it still fun. So, the other question that I had was just about kind of the new budgeting allocation process that we decided to use. How is that going? Is that making things easier to kind of like where to put stuff when, where to put funds as they come in, now that we've got kind of this template of, okay, this much goes here, this much goes there. Is that kind of working now and you've got that going, or what's the progress on that?
So we're not completely done. Yes, the theory is that it will help going forward. So this year it's been a challenge, which is good. It's been a challenge to get it together, but hopefully, yes, you are correct. Hopefully moving forward, it will make the whole process easier and probably, I don't know, it'll just make the process easier. So we're probably about 90% done. Got a few things to clarify, and then we'll be able to hand it off to council. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Jamie's being humble again, council member.
I think so. It's Mayor, I was so excited about that, just so you know, because that just, to me, it took kind of the emotional, where do we want it to go, and we kind of choose. But I think it's going to be revisited, of course, every year. It's like,
Sure.
Okay, was that a good place to put all the money? Are we good there now and we need to redirect some funds to another department? So I just think it's a really cool idea and a really cool tool that hopefully she likes too. So
Jamie
and
and,
not tooting your own horn too, Mayor. That was, I think
well,
you're
no, Jamie and John have done a good job, and they've implemented the estimation of revenues, and they've done a nice job of massaging the allocation of available funds. So those two are just being a little bit humble, but they've done a good job on getting that together.
well,
Thanks,
great.
thanks, Mayor.
And thank you again for all your work, John, Jamie, Susan, all of us that, I feel like I just get to like look it over and say, oh, wow, look at that work that somebody did. It's really, really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Extra. Mayor, anything else from you?
No, sir, I'm just proud of our team and the good work they're doing and the attention they're paying to finance. And of course, I'd like to commend the council who recognize the need to give adequate resources to that part of our city. And I think that we'll find that very rewarding long-term as we implement the financial plans. So thanks to staff, I'm really proud of them. And also thanks to the council for investing in that part of our city.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll echo what everybody has said about the great team that we have. Add a little kudos to you too, Mayor. Your experience in accounting and in the business world and all the experience that you have has brought a unique perspective to the city that has put us in a financial situation and helped us develop a financial plan that I don't think would have happened as easily or as readily as it has with you at the helm. And so I'm very appreciative of the expertise that you're bringing to the.
You're very kind, but I've been extremely depressed since they told me debits don't equal credits.
I know that, and we'll keep feeding you Mountain Dew and chocolate until you feel better. All right. Well, with that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, non-debatable. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Bye now.